Hi everyone, this is going to be my audience for my video today. Okay. Have you ever walked into a retail store excited because you see amazing deals? Maybe you see a $3 shirt. You think, how is that possible? These deals seem too good to pass up, and it's okay to admit that because many people think it. The reality is, while those cheap deals go flying off the shelves because the clothes aren't made well, there's a horrifying story behind how they were made and the lasting footprint they will have on our planet. As consumers, we must put an end to the unethical production practices of the fast fashion industry. Today, I will explain how not shopping fast fashion will benefit your wealth, future, and society. Let's uncover the darker side of fast fashion. Let's talk about the global impact. All over the world, especially in third world countries, we have the exploitation of workers. We rely on cheap labor in developing countries to get these fast fashion articles of clothing. According to Earth.org, when they posted an article in 2022, quote, often women and children suffer grueling work days and bad pay that does not cover basic expenses. The article also states, quote, physical abuse, sexual harassment, and unfavorable working conditions with mandatory overtime. Quote, talking about these conditions, saying how they're unsafe working conditions, and why do we want women and children working in these conditions when we are at war with third world countries and countries all over the world that the number one thing we focus on is not to harm women and children. So why would we want to do that just to get clothing that's in trend at the time? Also, we have to focus on the environmental impact. There's huge amounts of waste and pollution. An academic journal titled The Environmental Impacts of Fast Fashion on Water Quality spoke on this, stating, quote, the fashion industry is single-handedly responsible for more carbon emission than international flights and shipping combined, and uses about 93 billion cubic meters of water annually, end quote. We need to think about what this is doing to our air, our oceans, and ourselves, as well as the animal in our oceans. As you can see, fast fashion extends beyond our closets. It's affecting both people and the planet. Let's also talk about excessive consumerism. Society is constantly giving us the idea that we need new clothes and to get rid of the old ones. We constantly have new trends on social media, and everyone wants to stay up to date with these trends, especially us being college students. We also should talk about the mental impact. Fast fashion mental health article wrote, quote, the fashion industry aims to target and exploit one end of society by encouraging high spending behavior. it demands the exploitation of another end of society with inhumane labor practices. This showcases the financial stress that we're putting on ourselves to keep up with other people and how it's exploiting the world. Now that we understand the problems caused by fast fashion, let's explore the solutions. First, we have sustainable fashion and ethical production. We need to focus on brands that treat workers fairly, specifically small businesses, as well as not giving money to the big businesses that do not care for their employees. We know how it feels, not we, but many of us know how it feels to not necessarily be treated in their work environment the way they want to be treated. And when buying articles of clothes made outside of the USA, maybe in China, for example, could be just a product of fast fashion. Also, we need to practice environmentally conscious practices, choosing eco-friendly fabrics, and buying clothes that last longer. There are many articles you can easily look up to get more educated on this, and the academic journal that talked about earlier also spoke on textile reuse and how extending the life of items by transferring them to different owners under the same or different conditions creates a market for renting, secondhand shops, and trading. So embracing sustainable fashion not only addresses the problems, but also offers a promising path forward. The power of consumer choices. We create the demand for sustainability. An article in 2021 said, quote, investing in higher quality, learning more about the history and skill that went into making a piece and feeling proud of them will leave you feeling proud of yourselves for ensuring that your money is well spent and went to the right cause. So by investing in higher quality, we will have to buy less. You can go for more minimal pieces and think about what that other money could go towards. Also, changing the cultural view that society has built up. Sandrika wrote in 2021, quote, upcycling and thrift store shopping has increased. These measures are useful not only in reducing the generation of waste, but also in building community, encouraging a discourse about the detrimental effects of the fast fashion industry, giving creators their true credit, and improving accessibility to fashion that isn't determined purely by trends. Quote, shift away from the throwaway fashion and embrace a more mindful approach by shopping at places that are secondhand and doing things like thrifting. Human Rights Pulse wrote, quote, absence of manipulative market transparency and accountability on social media and access to information from the right source. So on social media, we don't need to romanticize new clothes. It needs to be on the side of social media that is romanticizing secondhand shopping, getting your clothes from the right places, and maybe necessarily having that vintage outlook. I wanted to share 2 different articles of clothing that I have that are both vintage. They are my 2, like some of my favorite shirts. All of my vintage clothes are, because the fabric is so good. I can actually check the tag on this one. So it was made in the USA. They also have some of the coolest designs. These are the t-shirts that I always get compliments on. Here's another one. This was also made in the USA. and I got them at different thrift events in Atlanta. But let's imagine the outcome of our shopping decisions. Imagine a future where the fashion industry supports workers' rights and protects the environment. Picture a world where our clothes are not just fashionable, but also made with kindness and care for people and the planet. On the other hand, think about the consequences of doing nothing. If we continue to support fast fashion, workers will continue to suffer and our environment will face more damage. Our choices will harm the world we live in and affect future generations. However, by choosing sustainable fashion and being more mindful shoppers, we can make a positive impact on both people's lives and our planet's health. The power to create this change is in our hands. So today we've explored the problems of fast fashion and the need to switch to sustainable practices. It's time to take responsibility for our choices and make a difference. As you continue your college journey and go on throughout life, keep in mind the impact of your fashion choices and the potential impact you could make and the impression you could leave on others and future generations. Let's support a fashion industry that cares about the environment. By making small changes in our shopping habits, we can lead the way towards a more sustainable future. Thank you for listening.